Hello and welcome to Badger Workshop. So let me start by saying video is going to be me waffling on. So it's going to be pretty boring. So switch off now if that is not your cup of tea. I've got a cup of tea, by the way. So why did I get this saw? Or another way of saying it, why didn't I get this saw before I got the Milwaukee one? Because a few people asked me that back then. Why didn't you get an old cast iron saw? Well, I would have, if I could have. But when I was back in Hampshire for about 4 years, several times a week, I would go on eBay, search for table saws, distance nearest first, condition used, see what was available. And in that 4 years, not one old cast iron saw popped up in my price range, in a reasonable distance from where I was. And it just happened when I was here that this popped up. So trying to find an old cast iron saw that is 240 volts is reasonably rare. There tend to be old industrial bits of machinery, so they're three-phase, most of them. One that wasn't too massive with sliding carriages, because there's no way that would get in here, is another thing, and one that's close because most of them that are listed are buyer collects. Now, they don't want to ship them, and it's cash on collection, so you could organise a van to go and get it, but then you've got to go there yourself, which might be an hour, a couple of hours drive, to go and just hand someone some money. So you've got to factor in all those considerations, and when you do, it is so much cheaper just to buy a saw. Also, if you need a saw, I use mine every day pretty much. I sent that Metabo one back. I needed a saw straight away. I could survive a few days, but this saw, I've probably spent close to 6 months working on it. So you can't just buy a old cast iron saw, because you've got to wait for one to become available, which has taken me 5 years to find one. And then it might not be in usable condition. So, okay, this took me 6 months to do. That's obviously not working on it even every week. Perhaps even a month or two went by where I didn't touch it. But I'm not sure I could have got it done in a week, because you start working on it, realise you need a part. These are not the kind of parts you can pop to Screwfix or Wix or any store local to me and buy. These are specialist things. Linked V-belts, I don't know where I'd buy one of those. I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere within 20-mile radius of me, but I don't know where that is. And you could spend hours looking things up and calling around. So you order these parts and they take days, if not another week, to turn up. Then you go a little further and you realise, oh, I'm missing this, if you can see that in frame, plastic ball knob. Well, I found that, got it off eBay, and it came from China, so that took 3 weeks to turn up. And I actually ordered two, and they sent one M8 and one M10, so I had to get a refund on one of them. So all these things take time. Great project, enjoyed doing it, but if you need a saw tomorrow, that's just no good. So this was local to me, but the logistics of getting it, you can't just click buy it now and get it delivered. You've got to drive over there. This was about 20 minutes away. After several phone calls trying to get hold of the guy over a few days, arranging a time. He had a trailer, so he said he would deliver it. But going to look at it, getting all the cars off his drive, getting his trailer out, getting loaded in the trailer, getting it brought back here, getting it pushed up the drive into my garage, it's probably 2 hours of your time. To get a saw that's not working. So it's a big commitment, and that's with me being flexible and doing it in the daytime. If you're working and only have weekends, these things are even more tricky. So anything bigger, I'd have struggled, because I can't pick it up in my car. I don't know that many people around here to be able to go, you wouldn't give me a hand Wednesday afternoon to go and pick up a cast iron table saw? Because to be honest, 2 people could lift this, but the bigger ones that even have castings in the base, you might need 4 guys. And then you can't wheel it up my garden. So there's what I'm saying is there's loads of considerations with one of these old machines. It's not so simple. With a contractor saw, you just go onto Amazon, click buy it now, it comes tomorrow, or Screwfix, or Toolstation, or go to B&Q. It's so easy. This is a big commitment in time and logistics to get it up and running. And I suppose there was always the chance that I would get this. I bet we've all done it, think I'm going to restore that or I'm going to do that, and it ends up going, no, it's above my skill level. When I was into cars, you'd see so many cars that people have stripped down to restore and they're unfinished projects, and people always go they're moving house or they've run out of money, but you always kind of imagine they got that far and then go, I don't know how to fix this, and then probably have lost thousands of pounds and are trying to sell it on. Well, luckily, I managed to actually get this all back together and it's working great. But you don't know that you're not going to hit a problem, or like the lift mechanism is actually, the casting's broken or something, and you're getting a metal casting re-weld. It's going to be uneconomical and you're not going to be able to do it, and it's just going to be a complete waste. All that being said, really pleased I did it, and if you're interested in doing it, yeah, great project, but it is a big commitment. So the other question is, why didn't I get a cabinet saw instead of the Milwaukee? Now the Milwaukee is around 800 quid. For that, you could get an Axminster trade quality machine. I don't like modern cabinet saws. I prefer the contractor saws because of the dust collection. So obviously I had some problems with that Draper, but basically that's the same as the Axminster Craft ones, and looking at the trade ones, it's the same system. So on a contractor saw, you have a dust shroud. Let's talk about the Dual 745, because that is kind of the best of them. Got the dust shroud. Behind the back of the blade is a dust port. So the blade is flinging the sawdust out the back anyway. If you run that saw with no dust collection, loads of sawdust will just come out the dust port naturally by the momentum of the blade pushing it out. So that works great. Cabinet saws have a shroud that doesn't cover the whole blade normally, even the £800,000 ones. Then it has a flexible hose going down to the bottom of the cabinet to a 4-inch port. Now I think this is because industrial machines, you tend to plumb in with metal ducting. So on the on the contractor saw, when you tilt the blade, the dust port swings with the blade. Sorry, my phone going off. And if you had solid ducting, obviously that wouldn't work. So the dust extraction on them is just pretty awful. And with my Draper, it had 4 Phillips head screws that I'd have to take off every week, take the side off and vacuum out the casing because it was full of dust. This was made before dust extraction was a thing, I think, because it doesn't really have a port to attach dust extractor. But the chute is on the blade and all the dust just shoots out the back. Works really well. I'll put a link down below to this Instagram account where they've got a old Watkins saw. I don't know how you pronounce it. You know what I mean. And it's fantastic because it's bright pink. They've restored it. I don't like pink. I don't have anything pink in my house. I can't imagine having a pink tool. Then I saw this one, this massive cast iron pink tool in the middle of their workshop. Looks fantastic. But they've got a little clip where they have the side of the saw, and you can see, I think it's maybe a 14-inch blade or maybe even more, spinning, cutting, and how the dust just naturally shoots out the back because of the design of the casting. Fantastic on these old saws compared to the new ones. I don't know. So that was just a waffle. So basically my summary was, why didn't I get one of these straight away? Because if you need a saw the next day, it is just not an option. If you can wait 5 years for the perfect one to come up, and it's not even this is perfect really, it doesn't have a tilt arbor and there's lots of problems, but this was the first one that I even seriously considered picking up. Yeah, get one. So there was a bit of a waffle. So I'll finish my tea now and check all these messages on my phone. Sorry about that. Talk to you next time.